So the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Wide is not what we all thought it was gonna be. Let me explain. What's up guys, Sal here. So ever since we first heard Samsung was making a wider Z Fold, people were hyped. Like finally, after years of everyone complaining about that tall and narrow outer screen, Samsung was giving us a fold that wasn't just wider, but insanely wide. And once the early rumors described this thing as a proper flagship foldable, the expectation went through the roof. People thought Samsung was finally about to go all in and build the ultimate fold. But then reality started kicking in. First, OnLeaks revealed that Z Fold 8 Wide would only have 2 rear cameras instead of 3 like the regular Z Fold 8. At first, most people brushed it off, mainly because the current 3x telephoto camera on Samsung foldables isn't exactly amazing anyway. Tiny sensor, mediocre quality, nobody was really buying a fold for that camera. And more importantly, people assumed Samsung would compensate by giving the Fold 8 Wide a 200 megapixel main sensor. You know, the same one they use on the Ultra phones where the high resolution sensor can crop in and still give you pretty solid short range zoom shots. Except that's not happening either. Yep, the Z Fold 8 Wide is not getting the 200 megapixel main camera, instead it's using the same 50 megapixel main sensor we have on the base S26. The ultra-wide camera is 50 megapixels as well, but again it's not some next-gen sensor, it's the same one we have on the S26 Ultra. And this information comes from Galaxy Club, who have an extremely solid track record with Samsung leaks, so at this point this is basically confirmed. Now you might be thinking, okay, maybe it's still a brand new 50 megapixel sensor. Well, doesn't look like it. SamMobile revealed the aperture details for both cameras and they match what Samsung is already using on existing devices, which basically tells us this isn't some secret upgraded hardware hiding behind the scenes. So yeah, Samsung is clearly not positioning the Fold 8 Wide as the everything maxed out foldable. In fact, it still sits below the regular Z Fold 8 in some key areas, especially cameras and battery capacity. The good news though is that both Fold models are expected to use the same Snapdragon chipset, so at least Samsung isn't pulling the classic less RAM, weaker chip move here. And honestly, this also explains the rumored pricing, because if the Fold 8 Wide is cutting back in a few areas, it's probably gonna be cheaper too. We're likely looking at least a couple of $100 less than the regular Fold 8. Now I know some people are gonna say, dude, just price the Fold 8 Wide the same as the regular Fold 8 and give me the best cameras. And I get that, but Samsung has a problem here. If they give the Fold 8 Wide the exact same cameras, same battery, same internals, and also give it the better aspect ratio everyone wanted, then why would anyone buy the regular Fold 8? Like seriously, the wide model would instantly become the obvious choice. So what Samsung is doing here is classic product segmentation. The regular Z Fold 8 stays as a fully loaded premium fold that costs $2,000, while the Fold 8 Wide becomes the more media-focused foldable designed specifically to counter Apple's upcoming foldable iPhone. And the more I think about it, the more obvious this strategy becomes. Still though, I can't lie, this is disappointing. Not because the 50 megapixel camera will be bad, it'll probably still be very good, but it really feels like Samsung was this close to making the ultimate foldable and then intentionally stopped halfway because they didn't want one model cannibalizing the other. And honestly, that's the frustrating part. Anyway, moving on, we also have information about the signature color of the Z Fold 8 Wide, and apparently it's gonna be dark green. That's the color Samsung will use in all the marketing renders and promo materials. We don't know the other colors yet, but hopefully this green looks similar to the green from the S23 Ultra because that color looked really good. We also got some case leaks for both the Fold 8 models, but they don't reveal anything new. And one thing I should point out, just because the cases show a magnetic ring, that doesn't automatically mean the phones themselves will have built-in magnets. This is probably the same Qi2 ready situation we saw with the S26 Ultra, where you need a magnetic case if you actually want magnetic functionality. Anyway, Samsung is currently offering up to $300 off on the S26 Ultra, so if you're interested, the link is down below. And finally, Samsung is apparently bringing back a feature on the S27 Ultra that they abandoned almost 8 years ago. And it's actually pretty interesting. Click here to watch the full video and I'll see you there.